In this video, we'll learn to use the combine and breakapart functions. And so to get started, I'm going to click on a new empty workspace, and I'm going to use the freehand shape drawing tool and just click and drag to create some sort of a shape. And remember, if I close the shape by connecting my last point to my first point, it closes the shape. But it's still using the tool. In fact, it hasn't closed the object. And if I draw an additional shape right now, and again an additional closed shape, it combines those shapes and creates like a hole. And I can continue to add sections to this object, as many sections as I wish, until I right click. That will close the object. And now, yes, I could start a new shape, but it wouldn't be a part of this shape. It would be a new shape. In fact, if I draw a big shape like such, and then right click to finish and draw a second shape on top, I simply have a fill on top of a fill. So when you create an object and you add multiple sections or segments, those segments can create a whole. And the effect is known as combining. They're combined together, and if I choose this segment, this object that is really made up of 1, 2, 3, 4 different outlines, and I right click, I get the secondary menu where I could break it apart. Break it apart makes it 4 individual segments that could be selected, that could be moved independently. And the opposite of break apart, if I select all of those pieces and then right click, is called combine. And combine will put them back together again, therefore creating the voids. So in the same way, if I select these two shapes and right click and say combine, that was group, right click, ungroup, right click, combine, when I combine them, the shape that is on top of the other shape creates a void. Now, if you have shapes that aren't overlapping each other, so in other words, if I take my digitize tool and I draw another shape that's close to this shape, such as this, and maybe even right click so that you can see that this is one individual shape and this is a second. If I select the two and right click and combine them, then it will join them together in their sewing sequence, and so it will always sew the blue and the blue of these two shapes as they were like joined as one. And so when you have two shapes that are combined, in fact, if I draw two shapes that are not as close together, so maybe one shape, and remember, if I don't right click, I could draw another shape. And so my shapes don't even touch each other. And if I right click, what happens is the software connects them with a run stitch because it considers combined shapes one complete object. And so the opposite of combine is break apart, and if I break these back apart, then it will treat each shape like it's an individual element of the design and not connect them together with the run stitch. And so this is the tool that's called, or the function that's called break apart and combine, and how they can be used to affect the way that our designs will sew.